Welcome to episode 1 of the brand new F1 24 driver career mode here on the all-new career mode in the driver career for F1 24. We will be starting at Haas, but with secret meetings being a new feature on top of a number of new features for the first time in a while for driver career on F1 career mode, we will be perhaps not at Haas for all of the seasons we'll be involved with here. You can see that the drivers look fantastic now with their all new face scans. We're going to be diving in this first episode to our 100% race distance driver career. Do drop the video a like and subscribe to the channel to make sure you don't miss out on any more, all the usual YouTuber pluggy stuff. Links in the description down below to my Twitch and the YouTube streaming channel as well, where we'll be live streaming all of this save, as well as obviously you guys getting edited highlights here on the ChesnoidPlays channel as well. I have hired an editor for this F1 content, so there may be a day or two delay between episode 1 that I'm going to edit and episode 2 and onwards once I've got the footage to my editor, but rest assured there will be multiple episodes of this every week for the foreseeable future. 100% career mode, also creator series content as well. I'm in F2 this year, and you may be lucky enough to see a co-op career mode at some point during this F1 cycle as well. So very, very much looking forward to this F1 cycle, and hopefully it will be the best F1 cycle we've had in our YouTube career. Driver career, though, is where we start today. We will be skipping straight to Formula 1, of course, full season as ever. As we say, 100% race distance. My settings are as you see them on screen there. That's how I prefer to race, but obviously you guys can race however the hell you like. We will start with the AI difficulty where we left it last year. It is a brand new game. I do anticipate not being quick enough to begin with, but we'll start at 105. Wish me luck. 105 AI is probably a terrible decision, but we have the opportunity to decide it in between sessions, so we shall qualify on 105, and if we are 5 seconds off the pace, then maybe we'll drop it a little bit. But I'm going to be driving as me. You can this year drive as an official driver again, as you used to be able to a few years ago. In addition to that, there is new real-life driver radio calls when you crash out and when you cross the line. So you only get those when you're driving as the real-life driver. So in this save, driving as a created me, we won't have those. But I will do some content this year with real-life drivers, so you can get that involved on the channel as well. But for this one, we're going to be driving as a custom driver. I'm going to go and make me. I'm going to get set everything else up behind the scenes, and I'll see you in Bahrain. Now, this is new this year. We have driver ratings. You, as a custom player, have driver ratings. Forgive me for talking over Elena, but my driver rating is not great right now. So we'll just quickly skip that. It is pretty straightforward how you understand the driver ratings. Those ratings will fluctuate as we go through. Obviously, accolades will accrue as we move through our season and seasons through our save, and hopefully we won't be 65 rated for long, but it is an RTG save, so to speak. I'll continue creating my guy, and I'll see you in Bahrain, unless there's anything else I need to bring to your attention. Academy Select. Now, this is a new feature as well. Of course, at the moment, we are planning on driving as a Haas driver, who will be, or are part of the Ferrari Academy. You can choose to not be part of an academy, but obviously it will affect your recognition with the associated teams, as you can read on your screen there. So it would be great if we could move from Haas ultimately to Ferrari, but what we do in our save with regards to the decisions we make, the secret meetings we do or don't have, our capability on track will decide whether someone like Ferrari might be interested in me or ultimately might not be interested in me later on down the line. Now, my teammate is going to be Kevin Magnussen. Nico Hulkenberg is leaving Haas to go to Audi in 2026. This will be the discovery of what life at Haas is going to be like without Nico. Ultimately, it may well be without Kevin as well throughout the course of real life in the next couple of seasons. But for the time being, We know that Nico's leaving. Kevin's future hangs in the balance. So Kevin will be my teammate. And there is me in my Haas uniform in front of my Haas car to go and kick some Haas in Bahrain. Or more accurately, probably get my Haas kicked. This isn't Bahrain. This is Monaco. And I have a funny feeling that's going to be me. Hello, me.
Finally.
This isn't where I live, is it?
Real.
It might be.
Sorry it took so long.
That is okay, Elena.
You know what these legal types are like? Yes, sir. No, sir. Here's 80 pages of needless jargon, sir. Anyway, believe it or not, this is my excited face. Come on. Come on. Let me show you what we've got. So, all the usual stuff. Merchandising, likeness, blah, blah, blah. But the really juicy stuff is their expectation of you. They need you to challenge yourself all season, be the best you can be, dominate your teammate, become a legend. All that jazz. Now, it's over to you.
Okay. Where do I sign? I've kind of already decided I want to be at Haas. But there are certain aspects we need to decide upon that will affect the way the team view us throughout the course of the season. So,
your current rating has been used as a starting point. Move this slider to set your target for next season. A higher target requires consistently good results at each race weekend.
Which isn't that likely for me, but we'll give it a go to try and keep things growing in the right direction. It recommends 69. Giggity. I will put 70. It is my ambition to grow by 5 ratings this season. I'm tied to a 1-season contract for this first year, but in future seasons, you'll be able to negotiate longer-term contracts if you so wish. And I'm happy to sign there. I want to go from 65 to 70 throughout the course of this 24-race Formula 1 calendar, and hopefully become the better recognised driver in the process. Let's give it a go. We're signing on the dotted line.
Signed.
So specialists are new this year. This is a way that you can help grow your reputation, your capability on track, and help improve the car and the team as well. I only have one specialist available at the moment. There is a goal available for the manufacturing expert specialist, and that being complete the race weekend or participate in or skip/simulate 3 sessions during a race weekend. So we're definitely going to do that. There's obviously 3 different levels, as you can see there, all of which will have various different rewards for completing them. But we will look to complete the race weekend and then move forward from there. So I'm at 65 currently. We have set a target of 70, but I need to at least maintain 60 to keep my seat, which should be very much doable at Haas, I would imagine. Rivalry is going to be with our teammate, obviously. The first person you want to beat on an F1 grid is your teammate. You'll also have a championship rival and a driver rating rivalry. So someone that's rated around about the same as yourself. I imagine in the early stages that will probably be Logan Sargent. But there are different tiers of intensity, and we will discover those as we go along the way. So in comparison, my first rival is probably going to be the 70 rated Logan Sargent. You can see the F2 drivers here are in the mid to late 60s as well. About myself, there are some that are slightly lower rated as well. R&D is relatively the same, other than obviously your teammate now has more of an impact on it, but we don't yet have the resource points to do anything with that. And you can see what Kevin is doing with his resource points as well as mine. That's new this year as well. Obviously the progress chart we are in, on paper, the worst car, but hopefully not for long. The chassis is, on paper, the worst part of the car, supposedly. Years. So K-Mag has spent his resource points already on weight reduction for the cockpit. That's great. That was the area of the car I was going to look to improve on as well, considering the chassis is the worst part of the supposed car. Durability is not somewhere we're going to prioritise at this stage. Powertrain is decent because, of course, we have a Ferrari powertrain. So I will spend my points on the aero side of the car. Initially, I'm probably going to work with Kevin Magnussen, but ultimately, I will try and dictate the direction that the team take with their upgrades. But front downforce is going to be important. I don't have enough funds at the moment to do it, but that will be my first port of call once I have some extra resource points, which I should get in a few days' time as we advance here. We'll get our weekly resource points. I can then, actually, yeah, 88 will just be enough to then be able to apply that. K-Mag has done some as well. Oh, it's available for K-Mag. It's available for me as well. We know that K-Mag has already done that one. I'm going to do this one. Standard, 20 days. It'll be ready for Australia, but we won't have an updated front wing adjustment bracket for Bahrain or Jeddah. Not to worry. Now then, we are going to track. I recognise that screen, do you? What's the weather going to be like? Oh, thank the Lord, it's dry in Bahrain. Would you, Adam and Eve it? Now then, I will be using some custom setups for this season. You'll notice above me, Sim Racing Centre. There will be a link in the description, and there is a link in the About tab of the Twitch page where you can find those setups. They are paid setups, so do be aware of that. I get 5% discount with the code Chesnoid at SRC. So live chat, if you want to do exclamation mark setups, that will send you a link to that. So we're skipping to qualifying through the practice programs. You can open the details here as you see from practice. This is a new way of looking at things post practice for your resource points. I have subsequently lowered the difficulty from 105. Definitely not good enough for that at the moment. We're drawing with our teammate at the moment, which is good. It's better than losing, certainly. And my ratings are... well, my experience is going up, if nothing else, at the moment. So that's an improvement. It's not as much of an improvement as I might like, but it's an improvement nonetheless. So we've dropped the rating to the difficulty from 105 to 94. Obviously, as we become more accustomed to the game and more accustomed to the new handling, etc., then we can up the difficulty back up, and we will do so throughout the course of the save and, in general, the F124 cycle. But here in Q1, on paper, the slowest car, we should really be looking to, hopefully, challenge to get out of Q1 into Q2, but not necessarily expecting to get out of Q1 into Q2. I'm going to put a lot less fuel in, run a minimal fuel run for this first one, and see where we are after the first run. My first qualifying run on F124 here in the Bahrain Grand Prix is probably going to put me 6/10 off my teammate. Yikes. Okay. We go again. We were a couple of tenths down on Alex Albon in 16th as we went through the first sector. As we go through the second, we're actually 6/10 up on Alex Albon at the moment, so having a good lap here. Lando Norris extends in P1. I'll try and use the toe off Kevin all the way to the line. Will we do enough? That was P14. We will do enough. Thank you, Kevin Magnussen, for the toe, my friend. We get ourselves through to Q2 at the first attempt, albeit it did take 3 laps and 2 sets of tyres to do so. I'm actually really pleased with that, because the first 2 laps we set were not great at all, but Kevin helped me get through with the toe, and unfortunately for him, he is out. P19 for Kevin. Daniel Ricciardo, P20. No shock exits. Everyone out that you would perhaps expect to be out, although Yuki not able to get through. Okay. At the front of the field, it's Red Bull, Ferrari, and then the McLarens, Aston Martins and Mercedes. But that's only Q1. Q2 on the way. Our Q2 fast lap. Trying to start somewhere higher than P15 here in the Haas. We shall wait and see whether we have any success in doing so or not. Battery management is going to be key, so we shall try and manage it accordingly. I rode way too much of that curb. I actually had a better run out of 2 at least. We are significantly up. I mean, I need to be significantly up. The first lap was done on a set of tyres that had already done 2 runs. 6 milliseconds between myself and Lance Stroll in P11 through the first sector. It is close right now. Change the difficulty to 94, which is at the top end of Master. We might up it to 95 or 6 for the race, which is at the bottom end of Legend, based on this qualifying performance. Always a learning curve at the beginning of the year, and we are learning together here with this first episode. Not a great exit there, but still good enough to earn ourselves a little bit of time, although losing it on the Delta as I've not utilised my battery as well as I could have on this lap. So we will probably lose some time down to the line. I'm going to run out of deployment just before we get there, I think. Very close. It's P14. Well, P14 Q1, P14 Q2. P14 it is then. Slight shock that George Russell is P1 in the session by 3/10. Gasly out in the Alpine. Ocon through in his Alpine. Lance Stroll, Bottas and Alex Albon in the Williams all join me as those that are eliminated from Q2. So I will probably jump the difficulty from 94 to 95, but only just that one tick for the race, and we'll see how things go. Beat my rival, obviously, in qualifying there. Was significantly faster than Kevin Magnussen in qualifying, which is a reason, contributory factor, as to why I'm going to up the difficulty, because ideally, you want to be around the sort of pace of your teammate to begin with. And at the moment, we are slightly faster than Kevin Magnussen in that first qualifying session. But it's a case of time. We shall trial, error, probably more error than trial, but we'll definitely nail down the settings that we know that we're going to enjoy for the rest of the cycle, and then we can crack on from there. But so far, really enjoying this to this point. Now then, can we have a good race to go with? That was 94. I'm actually going to put it to 96. Dare I do so. 57 laps of Bahrain on the way. So the starting grid then, unsurprisingly, Max Verstappen pops it on pole, a full 3/10 faster than teammate Sergio Perez. Moving further down though, how close is everyone else to the Red Bull? It is Ferrari 3-4, and then Norris in 5th and Alonso 6th. Everybody other than Max was actually very close there. The Ferrari's not far behind Sergio Perez at all, but Max Verstappen strong. We'll start P14 after being P14 in both qualifying sessions, but we'll be very happy to take that. Magnussen in P19. There's definitely more pace in the car than I think Kevin showed in that first qualifying session, so I anticipate Kevin making moves further forward. The question now is, what do we do with strategy? It's probably going to be a two-stop race, but I would probably prefer to start on the mediums. I see, the mediums don't last much longer than the softs here. Apparently, just a single lap. So, there's really not much between that whatsoever. So it may well be soft, soft, hard here. I don't know whether it's a bug for the medium tyre being just one lap further in distance than the soft in terms of its degradation, but it's half a second a lap slower, so we might have to take soft tyres a very long way. Soft, soft, hard is probably the ploy. I'm not sure what to do with fuel, obviously, but at the moment we have a full 110 kilos in the car, so hopefully we don't have to save too much fuel. Everyone else is mediums at the front and softs at the back, other than some hards, intriguingly. Both RB cars on the hard tyre. That is a brave call. That might not work in their favour. We shall wait and see. We'll go softs first. It is slower to 3-stop, so we'll definitely 2-stop, and soft, soft, hard probably. But if we can extend, then we will. 1.7 metres. 1.7 metres. Not great, but not terrible. Here comes our first race start on F124 ever. Go. Anti-stall. Fantastic. Drop the clutch too late. Or too soon even. There's a gap I'm going to try and fit in there. I'm not going to fit in there. I'm going to back out a bit. Well, that wasn't ideal. Yeah, away we didn't go, as it happens. I imagine everyone else is going to burn their battery quite considerably. Learning how best to utilise the new battery system is going to take some work as well. I'm going to try and challenge Zhou Guanyu for that. I'm going to try and challenge here though. I'm going to throw up the inside of the RB on the hard tyres.
Alright, let's focus now for the rest of the race.
Try and avoid the Williams as we go a little bit deep there. And then try and straight line speed-wise. He's got me at the minute. Can I get around the outside? That's the question. Slightly deeper on the brakes. Try and challenge. Not got it. Was tucked back in. And we go again. Okay, not a great first lap, but after the way we started, it certainly could have been worse. Now, new rule this year, of course, in real-life Formula 1. DRS activated after a single lap, not two. Thankfully, we're very much still within DRS range of the car in front.
DRS is being enabled this lap.
Just.
We can use DRS when you're
Now
within
not.
1 second of the car ahead and in the
Yikes.
DRS zone.
A change in the lead, though. A Ferrari has taken first spot. We might just have snuck back within there. We did indeed. I need to charge my battery back up, though. Don't yet know how we're going to be tyre life-wise compared to everybody else. But at the moment, still keeping ourselves within DRS range of Logan Sargent in front, which is going to be important. Hopefully we can lose those behind. Notice the little blue icon above Kevin Magnussen's car. That's to denote that he's my rival. And the colour of it, I believe, is either the intensity or the sort of rival he is, whether that's teammate, championship or driver rating, or whether it's normal, very intense or not quite so intense. Not sure what the different ratings are for rivalries, etc. But I'm going to need to charge my battery again a bit, because we've used a lot of it there to try and stay within. We haven't quite been able to do so. P17 after a couple of laps is okay. It's not terrible.
Okay, you're losing a small
7% on the rears, 7% front left, and my front right is fine. Look at the DRS there from Zhou and Yuki Tsunoda. Oh my god, the run on me that Daniel Ricciardo got there. Excuse me, sir. He's fighting it. He really is fighting it hard, Daniel Ricciardo. But we will eventually take the position. Or maintain the position, should I say. More accurately. We're in DRS range of Yuki. He's now not in DRS range of the cars in front, but he might have more battery than me. Judging by the way he's gapping. The answer is yes, I might be running too much rear downforce, of course, as well. Daniel's fighting me hard here. Need to charge my battery a little bit, I think. The gap is coming down with DRS when I'm on medium, which is good to know. Slightly deep on the brakes, but it's okay. Just managing everything at the moment. Tyres are getting quite worn. My engine is hot. Very hot. That is not going to be good for reliability. So I'm going to have to run out of the dirty air of the car in front for sure. So try and cool that down. That is going to have a massive impact on our overall engine power. I'm sure the battery usage will have an effect on that, or will have had an effect on that. Just using a bit more battery to try and get within DRS Yuki here, but Daniel's having a look at me now. Do still have DRS. Probably going to end up dropping the difficulty down a little bit more. Maybe 94 was actually the sweet spot in terms of my own performance compared to the AI. Rear tyres really kicking out on me there. We're now just out of DRS range of Yuki Tsunoda in front in the RB on the hard tyres. As our softs are almost certainly considerably more worn than his right now.
Laps of fuel remaining.
Definitely fuel is going to be a concern at the end of the Grand Prix as well without a safety car. So we are going to have to factor in some fuel saving at some point too. And it really is the learning curve of all learning curves in this first Grand Prix on the brand new game. And it is appearing to be a rather steep learning curve as well. Bye, Daniel. It's fine, we'll take the DRS. And I'm going to have to try and charge my battery up now. My tyres are not having a great time right now around this Bahrain circuit at all. If we can just tag on to the back of Daniel for a bit. And that would very much help in keeping our race intact. I've just noticed that the gaps to Ocon and Zhou Guanyu have started to come down a little bit. I imagine that's because they're battling quite hard. You can see them going side by side into turn one, right at the very end of the straight there. They are battling quite hard, and in turn it's helping us close the gap on them, which is bringing our race back to us. The gap in front of them is quite sizable. K-Mag right at the very end of that DRS train at the moment, hanging on for dear life in a car that didn't seem that competitive in qualifying, but maybe it wasn't me outperforming Kev, it was just Kev having a poor qualifying performance, and maybe 94 was the right difficulty setting for us. We shall try 94 again in Jeddah in episode 2. Let's see what we can do. But still all to play for here. It's not like we're half a minute down behind everyone. Still competitive enough right now. Engine is hot though, and it does make me worried. Got a new objective. That's brand new this year. Keep the engine staying... avoid the engine staying above 149.6 degrees for 10 seconds per lap. At the minute, it has come back down. It was up at 146, 147-ish when we were tucked right up behind everyone else. Thankfully, it has come down since we've fallen off the back of the RBs, so we should be able to do that objective quite comfortably. That will help with our reputation. My overall race pace right now isn't going to help with my reputation, but we're not too far behind the other soft runners, Ocon and Zhou. We have obviously lost some time, and we would like to be more competitive, but we're not miles off where we need to be. So we're about to complete our objective here on the left-hand side. We've passed that,
Really good job with that target, mate.
which has very much pleased
We're approaching
the engineer.
window. You're going to be on softs. Right, the gap to the teammate ahead of us, 13.5 seconds.
13.5 seconds off my teammate after 15 laps. Says to me that 94 was the sweet spot, and in Jeddah in episode 2 we will race at 94. Quali pace was good, race pace is not as good as quali pace, so qualifying on 94 in 14th and then racing in 94 difficulty, the top end of Master, genuinely could be the early sweet spot for us here. Gap closing in now on Ocon as he's fighting with the two RBs here. I'd be tempted to pit on lap 16 and undercut slightly, because at the moment I'm not gaining anything from just sticking to the strategy we were on. I might run the hard tyres next, actually. I'd be sorely tempted to run the hard tyres next and then have a blast on the softs at the end, but I don't know how good a decision that might well be. I shall discuss it with live chat and get back to you. Chat, what are we saying? What do we think? There is an early boxer. It's a Mercedes. It's George Russell who's gone to the medium tyre in his second stop, and Esteban Ocon has pulled the trigger on lap 37 as well. I think we pit and drop to the hard tyre and then just try and extend. and then blast the softs at the end when we're out of fuel. Decision made. Hard tyre coming up next. Ocon and Russell both going mediums. If our chart was anything to go by, mediums aren't going to last any longer
Car behind on the medium tyre now.
than the softs do. So we will use Russell and Ocon as guinea pigs to decide what tyre we go onto for the final stint. Whether it's a hard or whether it's a medium or whether it's a soft will depend on how far they go on their mediums. Was it just a visual bug and actually the mediums go a lot further than it says that they do? Or was it not? Don't really want to lose any time behind George Russell, but we're going to come into the box here. Others are in the box in front of us as well. Gasly's also gone to the hard tyre, which is intriguing, so maybe we are making the right call. The hard C1 tyre on the two-stop strategy. Here we go. First pit stop of F124. Hopefully I can get my clutch bite better.
Go.
Indeed we can.
Fantastic stop.
Who knows how much of a factor that was on our poor start if I could have stayed with the pack.
Okay, stay clear of the white line on the exit. We'll receive
Now
a
then.
penalty for dangerous driving if you cross onto the track.
I'm going to try and go long. Intriguingly, I think those front runners were all on mediums anyway. Those front runners that boxed off their mediums, that boxed and have gone to mediums, started on mediums. They did indeed. So those medium tyres just aren't lasting very long. Okay, so I've got another mid-race objective,
Okay, gap
which
to
is
the car
actually
in front,
quite welcome at this stage. That's a new
0.4
feature
seconds.
this year. Obviously, we're learning that we've set the difficulty too high for race pace as opposed to quali pace. In this first race of the season, we will be sticking to 94 as we had it in qualifying for the next round in Jeddah. But we had the mid-race objective to try and maintain engine temperature, and now we've had another mid-race objective pop up to achieve a lap time of 34.5. You'll notice top right, my fastest lap of the race so far is a 34.4. And I also was faster than ever before, a personal best in Sector 1, because it's green, but not a personal best in Sector 2, because it's yellow. Yellow replacing the previous red from other iterations of the game to replicate real life. Can we do it first time around? No, we're significantly off. But if Yuki comes out in front of us here, we can utilise... He's going to come out just behind me here. We can utilise some DRS off the back of Yuki Tsunoda. And hopefully, you never know, achieve that lap time. Ricardo and the other RB also changing his tyres. We're going to get DRS here off the back of Yuki Tsunoda. So whilst at the minute we're not that bothered about the position, it would be great now to try and utilise that DRS to go for that objective of the lap time. Can we get the target lap time? Looking for a 1:34.5, and we get a 33.9, give or take a tenth of a second or a hundredth of a second. So we utilised the DRS off the back of Daniel Ricciardo very well there, and the saving of our battery to get that mid-race objective, which again will help our reputation. So we're minimalising the damage here. Yes, we've got the difficulty set too high for this first race of the brand new game, but having the opportunity to at least maintain a little bit of dignity from achieving these mid-race objectives, and then in the next race in Jeddah, just leave it at 94 and hopefully be more competitive. Just about half race distance at this stage now, coming up to the end of lap 28. Okay, second round of pit stops, and those medium runners have only done a very, very similar, if not identical, stint on the mediums to that they did on their softs. So, safe to say that it's not a visual bug, it is either a full bug where the medium tyre doesn't last anything more than a lap more than the soft, or it's by design, and genuinely at Bahrain the medium tyre is absolutely atrocious compared to the hard in terms of wear and absolutely atrocious compared to the soft in terms of relative wear to pace.
0.0 seconds.
So the medium tyre effectively is just one that you want to completely and utterly avoid if you have the opportunity to around here. We do have the opportunity to do so because we've got enough soft tyre sets left from not making it out of Q2 and from doing not as much practice as we ordinarily maybe would have done. So we could just run 2 sets of softs in the race as opposed to 1 set of softs and a medium. Do have mediums available to us because we haven't used the set that was available in qualifying, but obviously not planning on using it at all now. I am worried about fuel to the end of the race from here. Something we're going to have to monitor.
Kevin's in the pits.
Unless there's a safety car, we might be in trouble. We are going to have to save some. I do anticipate getting lapped in this Grand Prix, but it is going to take still quite the
23 laps of
effort
fuel remaining.
to not run out of fuel at the end of the race, basically. It's not a good race tyre here. Here comes Esteban Ocon on his fresh tyres. Contact, big contact with Valtteri Bottas, who has lost the end plate to his wing there. Valtteri Bottas now going to be running at an aerodynamic deficit unless he pits to replace that front wing. His pace is going to be affected. How negatively affected it is, we shall find out, but evidently there, going around the right-hander, he was significantly slower and struggling. We might not finish last in this race. Now, will Valtteri box for a new front wing, or is he going to soldier on with the damage and try and make the best of a bad job like we are? He's going to stay out with the damage. Valtteri Bottas going to sit there in front of us, and to be honest, I might utilise him a little bit to save some fuel, which could help bring our race back towards us a little bit. Thoughts on the handling at the moment, Jack, are that I don't like it, but
There are 20 laps
they
of
are
fuel left.
improving it with a hopefully not too distant patch. And the feedback from those that have used and played that test build is that the handling is significantly better. So it might be a slightly rough launch period, but the whole year isn't going to be screwed. I could try and make these hard tyres go to the end. They are only 27% warm after 20 laps. I could try and one stop, hang it out, wait for a safety car if there's one to come, or even a red flag. Whilst the tyres are lasting and we have track position, there's no point putting ourselves down to P20 for the sake of putting ourselves down to P20, is there? We might as well try and hang on to the DRS of the wounded Valtteri Bottas, save some fuel and some tyre life,
Okay, we're approaching
and try and
the
take these
window.
tyres to the end.
We're gonna be on softs.
And then if there's a safety car, we'll be very pleased. At the minute, no signs of even a VSC, let alone a full safety car. But that's not to say there won't be some later chaos.
Okay, mate, Bottas ahead. We can't let them hold us up for too long, so let's try and get past as soon as possible and crack on. Push,
Okay, a third in-race objective. Overtake Bottas before lap 46. We have been trying to stay behind him, purposefully. But we will now look to overtake him to get the objective and then slot right back behind him again. Now the issue with one stopping would be that that would mean that we almost certainly won't get lapped. So we are going to then have to save all of the fuel rather than just some of it. At the end of the race, I can always just dip into the box if we find ourselves in a position where we need to save some more fuel. Now Zhou Guan Yu and Logan Sargent decided they want to come and join the party. We've lost DRS on Valtteri, which is not great.
Okay, we want you to pit this lap, so push now, push.
We will not be pitting this lap. Look at the difference the battery and DRS makes. That's insane. Zhou Guan Yu will have masses of pace on his teammate though. We've still got plenty of time to overtake Valtteri. My tyres are starting to hit a drop-off point in terms of their performance, as you can tell. 30% now on the rears and front left. And the whole one-stop strategy looking like it's less and less fun as time goes on. Two Sabres are side by side. Joe has gotten his teammate now, though. Hopefully they start to battle. It looks like they are doing. More debris on the track there. Not sure what car that came off. Someone has lost some. Someone has lost some front wing. Whether it's more of Bottas's or some of his teammates or entirely someone else's, we're not sure at the moment. Joe is past Valtteri now and starting to disappear down the road in front of him a little bit. Sargent now right on the back of Valtteri Bottas. And we're closing back in again. That's Daniel Ricciardo in the pits. May well have been his debris then that was out on track a couple of laps ago, and he's having to box again. An extra enforced pit stop for the RB for a front wing change. We'll be able to check the race director once he's come out the pits to see if he has changed any of his bodywork. He can't. That can't be an extra pit stop. Surely, just a genuine extra pit stop on strategy for Daniel Ricciardo. I'm certain of it. I'm gonna scroll down. No, it appears to be. Is he doing a 3-stop then, Daniel? No. That's strange. The RB's just not that quick at all then. We stayed out a very long time. No, he didn't really stay out a long time. I don't know why Daniel Ricciardo is so far behind, TBH. Unfortunately, we're going to fail this mid-race objective. Valtteri, with his wing damage, is still faster than us with our tyre wear, unfortunately, at this stage. 12 laps to go, including the one that we're on. We have made the decision at the moment to push for a 1-stop. Does mean that I'm going to have to still save 0.7 laps worth of fuel because I'm not going to get lapped unless I box for a second time, or if there's a safety car. Even a VSC, just to maintain the status quo for a little bit, would really help in saving the fuel. Bahrain, not a massive fuel drinker, but the fact that you need a full fuel tank to even consider making it to the end, a brimmed fuel tank to even consider making it to the end, means that despite the fact we haven't drunk loads of fuel, we've drunk just a little bit too much regardless. So certainly something to monitor for future races to see if that's track specific or whether that is something that is the characteristic of this Haas car for the rest of this season, and perhaps then in the R&D aspects of the career mode we could look to improve this car's fuel efficiency moving forward for the rest of the season. That would hopefully in turn make us more competitive. Tyres nearly at 40% now with 11 laps to go as we complete lap 46 of 57. It's been a long slog opening Grand Prix in the desert, but it's a brand new game with a brand new handling system. And this is always the way of things with 100% race distance stuff. You can't just dip out of a 25% race and go and change it for the next one. You are committed. But I love the 100% race distance stuff. I am committed. Hopefully you guys are finding the content entertaining nonetheless, with the way that we can edit the footage together. And obviously, as we say, moving forward, we will maintain 94 at the top end of Master rather than sneaking into the bottom end of Legend for the difficulty level. And we should be in a good spot, I think, moving forward until either the handling gets patched or we just become more familiar with the game, the new handling model, the new ERS system, and become better at getting it. But effectively, especially driving as
Fuel to go, 9
my
laps
own
left.
person, we are a rookie in every aspect of the word here in this 2024 Formula 1 season. I don't feel quite Mazepin-esque in terms of racecraft, but slightly in terms of pace, but we have the capability to alter that and make ourselves artificially slightly more competitive with the difficulty level, but I don't imagine anyone, or a very minute percentage of people, will be able to maintain their difficulty level from
Okay, gap to the car in
F123
front.
to F124 at the very
2.7
beginning of this new
seconds.
cycle. Be very surprised. Very surprised indeed. Maybe those that race at 110 and are just gods at the racing games anyway. Perhaps, but I am not one of those. I might be in a position soon where I can forget about fuel saving because I'm going to get lapped and also hopefully maintain the gap to Daniel. I've saved enough that I could push flat out to the end now, and they should catch me, and hopefully I'll be able to stay ahead of Daniel. Operation Don't Finish Last might still be possible, even on a difficulty setting that's too high for us. Got no ego issues in admitting that a difficulty setting is too high for me. Ultimately, my main aim is to create entertaining content, not to race at the highest possible difficulty setting.
Blue flag.
Very early blue flags. Through at the hairpin.
Okay, that's us with 5 laps
And
of
then
fuel
try
remaining.
and sit in
5
DRS
laps
as
of
long
fuel
as I
left.
can. Dragged along. To defend from Daniel. Take me with you, Charles! Take me with you! And we also get front row seats to the battle for the win here in Bahrain. Albeit probably not for long, but still. Please give me DRS. I'm not going to get it, am I? No. Sag. Hopefully Daniel's tyres are dying.
You're dropping a second a lap to the car behind. 1 second.
Yeah, we only need to get to lap 56 now, though, not lap 57. So that second a lap, hopefully, will help us maintain the gap. I pray, anyway. And in terms of tyre wear, these hards have lasted phenomenally well. Daniel's used softs, or Daniel's softs, will now be as used, or as quite close to a similar wear level to our hards. So provided I can not drive like a moron in these last few laps, you might well be able to not finish last, and by more than a couple of seconds as well. Yellow flags in front. Oh, it's probably just I thought maybe no late safety car when we've just been lapped, but no, it was just Bottas. It was just Bottas letting the front two through. Oh, that'll get your heart racing a little bit more, won't it? As we start our final lap, the gap in front between Max and Charles Leclerc is growing ever more. Charles gave it a good old battle to try and win this Grand Prix, but in the end he's going to have to settle for P2. Those front two are a long way clear of, actually as it seems on the minimap, Fernando Alonso in P3. Then Sergio Perez, who was running down in 9th at one point, now up to P5, so a good recovery from him. Then it's Lando and his McLaren, and you can see coming down the penultimate straight there, Ferrari and the Mercedes side by side. Which Ferrari Well, not which Ferrari. Which Mercedes is the lead Mercedes, I don't know. It's Ferrari, Mercedes, McLaren. So Sainz, insert Mercedes driver, Oscar Piastri. And positions are changing hands here late on. As you can see there, the lead Mercedes now through. And the McLaren trying to chase the secondary Mercedes. I know battery charge is high, but by pulling off a one-stop here, despite being out of our comfort zone with difficulty, we are going to be able to not finish last, which is an accomplishment, I think. And knowing that about where we were for qualifying seems to be a decent position, at least for qualifying, and that race pace is less competitive than qualifying pace, we'll go back to where we were, and hopefully Jeddah will have a bit more on-track action for you. But this first episode of the brand new F1 24 driver career really is actually more about the off-track stuff in this first episode anyway, with the new functions and mechanics in the game. P19 for us on debut in Bahrain. Ahead of Daniel Ricciardo, we managed to pull off a one-stop, which is also probably good information for you guys for your own career mode saves. A one-stop is doable around Bahrain. And who finished ahead in that Ferrari, Mercedes, McLaren battle? That's what I'd like to know at this stage. It was Lando Norris from George Russell and Carlos Sainz from Lewis Hamilton. George from Carlos Sainz, Lewis from Oscar Piastri in the end. Sainz with the fastest lap of the race. K-Mag, our teammate, in P14. And my fastest lap was 8/10 slower than him. In fact, nearly 9/10 slower than him. But we know that the difficulty is not quite right for us here. It was more a case of K-Mag had a poor qualifying than we outperformed because of the difficulty. So we'll see where K-Mag qualifies back on 94 difficulty in Jeddah. But we stay drawing with our teammate with regards to the intensity of that rivalry. Experience goes up, racecraft goes up, awareness and pace as well. So, and focus too. So we have grown from 65 to 66 rated in this episode. So we have to be happy with that. A DNF bonus. Teammate rivalry gets some boosts to XP for that as well. Dynamic objectives completed as well. But we are not quite where we would like to be. What's going to happen with my reputation? Is it going to go up? Is it going to go down? It's going to stay exactly where the hell it bloody well was. Okay, that's not a problem though. And with regards to our specialist, we gained some XP there as well. So that's good news. Moving forward, we shall head towards Jeddah, but we'll see if there's anything else off track that's new before we get there. And it seems like there might well be. Jacko, thank you for the Prime Gaming sub for the 6th month, mate. We have goals available for multiple specialists now moving forward for the next race weekend. So we can complete any session with the fastest lap time or reach 170 miles an hour or higher for 30 seconds. That's absolutely doable at Jeddah of all places, isn't it? So we'll set that goal. Goal available is here as well for the power unit consumption. Achieve a position of 19th or better in qualifying. Quite happy to do that. I feel like we're confident enough of being able to pull that out the bag. And complete 10 laps during a race weekend or perform 250 gear shifts during a single session. All of which are comfortably doable because of the nature of the 100% race distance that we do. So all of those specialists are set. We don't yet have a quality assurance tester. We don't yet have a strategy analyst, but that is yet to come. So do join me for episode 2. Like I say, there will be a bit of a gap between episode 1 and episode 2 as I'm editing this one, and the person that just very kindly subscribed to the Twitch channel, Editor Chris or Editor, will be editing episodes 2 and onwards. So once that system is up and running, then you guys will have very consistent Formula 1 content here on the second channel. So do make sure that you subscribe to the ChesnoidPlays channel. Of course, come and join me live on stream as well. You'll be able to see that edited content earlier in full on stream, on Twitch and on YouTube as well. So very much looking forward to having you with me live too. Getting some more resource points here as we push towards Jeddah, but obviously at the moment we're not able to improve the R&D at present because we don't have enough resource points to do anything else. But K-Mag has upgraded the rear downforce, which is very kind of him. So between us as a team, we are very much building and improving this car. Gearbox has also been done by K-Mag too. No sign of fuel consumption at this stage, so that's certainly something we're going to have to keep our eye on as we move forward throughout the races, and maybe potentially upgrade there. But with more experience, maybe it's just track specific. We shall wait and see. Join me in the next one in the next couple of days for Jeddah. It will be live today as you see this on YouTube, so like I say, links in the description down below to join me on stream. But for now, for episode 1, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.